Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Good Morning Soul. And by the time you guys are watching it, I think there have been enough episodes of this series that will have kind of an idea of where it's going, on terms of viewership and just I think whoever has gotten into the lull by now has either decided to stay or not, or whatever they're doing. So that'll be interesting to see. But today I'm going to be covering another piece of my childhood and something I was weirdly into as a kid, and I had a little I don't want to call it a collection, but back in the day whenever you got video games, and I didn't have that many video games obviously, but whenever you'd have video games, they came with manuals. Video games nowadays, they don't even come with manuals. I swear to God, you just get the disc, and despite the fact that we're trying to switch to digital, or at least the video game companies are trying to switch to digital, but at the same time, it's why are you gonna do that when you don't even have anything in the cases anymore, and the fact that you can't even have that much hard space on your whatever, Xbox One, you can barely put any games on it. There's hardly any storage. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So as a kid, I remember I would just really like looking at these video game manuals, and I'm not talking about the strategy guides. I'm sure I would have killed to have those, but I didn't have those as a kid, and I barely was able to get any video games as a kid, right? So the fact that I could spend money on strategy guides was probably not even an idea to me. But I literally remember having a little box just full of video game manuals, and I remember I would literally have that next to the toilet instead of having books or magazines or whatever normal people have. Nowadays I just watch YouTube videos or whatever else, or I'll read comics sometimes too. But back then I just remember this box full of video game manuals, and we didn't have that many video games as a kid, but I think we took them out of the video games we rented from the video store that we went to, and there was a game store too. I don't know, because I remember there was a bunch of manuals in there that were from games we didn't own. So I assumed, intentionally or unintentionally, we had a bunch of video game manuals that I guess we kind of stole or whatever. And I remember some manuals would piss me off because I was they don't even have anything in this thing. The manuals I really liked were games like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Kingdom Hearts, anything that would have character bios, I was in love with. And some of them I would be upset if they weren't in color. I remember, I think it was the Sonic Adventure one where it was in color. It had I would actually read up about the stuff within the video game, sometimes learn a thing or two. I know the idea, no one's actually using these for actual manuals, but back in the day when there wasn't internet, sometimes you were desperate, and you flipped open video game manuals. We weren't able to look online for stuff like that. And I love the idea, the Kingdom Hearts one, you open it up and it tells you how old the main character is, which it doesn't say in the game. I was oh, Sora is 14 years old, which I'm pretty sure I still remember that. I think he's 14, and then Riku's 15, I believe. And I would learn that from the manual, that information isn't anywhere else. And little things like that, character bios I really like, just artwork. People today buy strategy guides for the same thing. They really like art and stuff like that. People have art books nowadays, and so I think I love that kind of stuff. If I had the storage and the money, I would buy that shit all the time. But unfortunately, and I would love to just have that stuff out on a coffee table, just look through it. But I don't have the time, storage, or money for that. But that is something I would like to do. I would like to have a collection of strategy guides like some people have. And I do remember, like, later on in life, I kind of wish I kept those strategy or those manuals. I don't know whatever happened to them. I think we just lost them when we moved or whatever. But eventually, I would go on to collect video games, and if you collect video games, you'll learn quickly about what a complete means. Like, if you buy on eBay, like, it'll say, like, this game is complete, and that means it has the manual, basically. Like, it has the disc, manual, everything. And if it doesn't have the manual, then it's not complete, and it's not worth as much money to collectors and stuff like that. So, like, and then I'll open up video games now, and there's no manual. Like, I'll buy it used, and I don't know, like, I'm like, does this, like, I'm looking at this copy of Uncharted 4 that I bought used, and I don't know if they just don't like manuals anymore, or if someone already took the manual out. Is this game complete? I don't know. If I try to resell it on eBay, what do I say? Manual not included? Did it come with a manual? I'm not going to spend the time to Google every video game and ask whether it came with a manual or not. And maybe they don't put manuals in there anymore because no one gives a shit anymore. And they don't need to look up in the manual anymore because, you know, there's video game tutorials for that. But people don't even like tutorials. So, I don't, like, video games, I think, have a hard time, like, trying to teach the player, like, how to play the game. Like, some people, there's the occasional player who won't play the game. I hate this argument. I hear people say this. They say, like, I'll ask, oh, do you want to play this game? And they'll say, I don't know how. Like, I remember this little Call of Duty, like, kid, and I was trying to get him to play other things with me. And he was like, oh, I don't know how to play that video game. What are you talking about? Like, you put it in and you, like, dick around for 10 seconds and you learn. Like, what do you mean? But he sure knew how to play Call of Duty. So yeah, specific manuals I remember really liking. Again, the Kingdom Hearts one, the Sonic Adventure 2 one. Like, I think the Sonic one even told you how old Sonic was. I think stuff like that I really liked. I remember the one to Sly Cooper. Just weirdly vivid memories of these little video game manuals. I remember the specific, it was more like a crate than a box that we kept it in. And yeah, I would just flip through those and the images, I guess, just burned into my mind. And here I am like a decade later talking about it in video format on my YouTube channel for my morning podcast show. It's weird how the world works sometimes, but I think, like, one of the reasons why I like this series is I can do stuff like this. And I think, like, I'm sure there's at least one other person out there. I don't know if they're listening to this, but there's one other person who was like me and, like, really just enjoyed looking at video game manuals. Most of the ones I had were, like, for PS2 and GameCube, because, you know, that's when I grew up. Those are the systems I grew up on. But yeah, I think that'll be it. Guys, give me feedback, like, on how you're reacting to this series, and if you have any input on video game manuals, let me know. I wish you all a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning with another episode of Good Morning Soul. Anyway, guys, take care, and with that, I leave you.